Hi friends, welcome back to the final part of my Let's Build series. Today's video will be finishing up the loft space, and we will then be doing a house tour. I've kind of added some features to the house, not really the upper area, just because we'll be working on this whole area I think for a little bit, and then yeah, the Let's Build series will be done. So to start things off, I want to mention one last time, I'm so thankful for each and every person who left such amazing comments and ideas for this series. It was just so much fun to do this, and it's a little bittersweet that it's ending, but you know, who knows, maybe in the future I'll do another Let's Build series, and hopefully it will be as fun as this has been. So first things first, I just want to add some blinds or some kind of curtains to the area. I think that sort of adds maybe a little bit of dimension to the walls, and maybe I'll add a painting. But so a lot of people gave me ideas for the loft space, and it was really tough to pick out just one, but there was one comment that it was for a room that I had not even thought about adding to the space, but the second I saw it recommended, it just kind of felt perfect for a single person living in a house like this. And I believe it was Three Sisters Gaming who had the idea for a music room. So a music room in this space is just perfect in my opinion. Other ideas were just off the top of my head. Maggie had a reading nook, which I thought could have also fit in perfectly here, but I think we can do actually something with this space right here for a reading nook now that I mentioned it. Well, I thought about it after I mentioned it, and I might try to do that, but for a music room and a music space, it just seems like the perfect idea, and yeah, I had to include it. And so I'm gonna first add a piano because I want that to be sort of the focus of the room. I've never done a actually like dark wood piano, and I probably won't use it here. It's not ugly, it's just there's a lot of conflicting wood tones in this whole build, and I don't want to kind of contribute to it. A white piano is nice. Yeah, I think I'll stick with that for now, and then we'll get some, but first let's get some kind of other pieces down and maybe change things around then. So I think one sad thing about music in the game is that they still haven't added a drum set. If you do not know, I actually used to play the drums. Played the drums for maybe 3-4 years. I played the snare drum in like school band. I played full sets in high school and in middle school, and it all kind of ended when I broke my wrist a while back. It wasn't actually a terrible injury, it just didn't heal correctly, so I can't really bend my wrist back. But that's honestly, it wasn't as bad as spraining my ankle, so take that for what it is, but who knows. So yeah, okay, so I want to add a trash can in this upper space too. Before I kind of move on to this area, I want to add a floor rug or a carpet in this area, and maybe something musical. I think there are some kind of musical rugs. They are career locked. I did add a sim living in this house so I can go straight into the house tour, but I don't think these music style rugs really fit into the space well anyways, so I'm going to maybe go with a large rug like this, maybe something like that. I think it works well with the white piano, but I gotta do something about this space right here, and maybe raise these windows up. Maybe these ones too. It doesn't look too bad from the outside, doesn't look too bad from the inside either, but I do think I might add some cabinets, or even, or countertops. I confuse countertops and cabinets in every single one of my builds, and it's starting to get on my nerves, so I hope it's not getting on yours. Let's add these these island living cabinets in and see how they look. I kind of like the look of them because they don't have a really big kind of kitchen feel to them, and these could be like kind of storage cabinets and stuff, which is sort of the look I'm going for. I probably should have explained that before I actually placed them down. Maybe something industrial, like a tall cabinet. Not something like that. Maybe something, yeah, maybe something like this. Maybe I'll actually wait, let's go back to these. Let's use an end counter. Yeah, so that looks cool. Maybe doesn't fit too much with these walls. Maybe I'll change this back wall into something a little more industrial, but keep these walls intact. The side walls, I mean. Okay, yeah, I think that's cool. And then add maybe some decorations, and even a kind of cool trick that I like to do with this is I like to put the violin on the kind of countertop, and maybe put the guitar just sort of nestled in the corner there, and then we'll get some clutter items on top too, maybe some snacks and stuff. Just stuff to make it seem like this is maybe a place where the Sim spends a lot of time, because I know how it was when I used to play the drums. Is I would spend hours upon hours playing, and then probably go like a week without. So it was kind of nice to be able to like sit there with my drums and maybe have a snack while I was playing, because drums do take a lot of energy to actually play, and as you can probably tell by the sound of my voice and the tone at which I speak, I am not a very energetic person most of the time. So yeah, it was kind of a different sort of thing. I was a different person. I was 10 years younger back then, so I have changed a lot since then, so I should probably mention that as well. Maybe add a journal down. Maybe they're taking down notes for their piano or their guitar. One thing I will say about playing the drums, a joke I used to tell, I think I've actually even told it on this channel before. I did not create the joke, so I'm not trying to take credit for it, but one thing I often used to say before band practices and stuff was a joke, and the joke was, what do you call somebody who hangs around 3 musicians? And the answer to that is a drummer. Now, I think drummers are musicians. Some of my favorite musicians of all time are drummers, but in terms of playing drums, it takes a different skill set than other music professions or instruments, in that you don't tend to need to know like certain notes like A's or A flat or whatever. Like I said, I played drums, I don't know any of that stuff. Maybe add some of these like towels, because I think your hands can get sweaty if you play guitar. But yeah, so I've kind of been just rambling here. I really do want to apologize for that. I don't really know what I've been talking about, but as I was talking, I think a pretty interesting room has sort of arisen. I'm going to play around with the colors here, maybe go with the white countertops and dark cabinets. I like it. I don't know if I love it though. Maybe lighter. I think these are just the regular, how they are, as is, which I do like. And let's see, that brown again. I don't know, it's just a little too dark for the room. Let's see about changing the wallpaper on the back. Let's not go with something too out there. Maybe like this one. Now I don't like the kind of lack of depth it provides. I also realize I think I do need to raise the violin just a bit. Let's go with maybe darker. I like that. I think it looks good. So that area is looking pretty good, I'd say now. So let's just add some finishing touches here. I want to keep this area a little simple with just a lamp and a potted plant, but maybe add like a couch here, and maybe if your sim has a friend over or something, their friend could take a nap there. Because every time in my game a friend comes over or an acquaintance comes over, they're always exhausted and they always sleep in my house. And then when I try to do that, like during like rags to riches or something like that, it's not cool. So I think Sims are hypocrites. I think Sims are fine just falling asleep in your house, and they're not so cool with you falling asleep in theirs, and I'm not a fan of that. Oops. Okay, so let's just move that into the right place. Maybe push this against the wall, or away from the wall. And maybe let's lighten this up a bit. Yeah, let's go with that. And maybe... maybe leave that as is. And maybe leave... This is tough. I think we'll leave that as is. Like I said, one thing I'm not a huge fan of with this game is the variation of wood tones between objects, and how there's not, like, you know, a certain kind of cohesion in it. You know, this kind of doesn't look as neat as I would prefer, but, you know, oh well. I think I like the look of the furniture pieces, not necessarily what color they are for this build, and hopefully one day there will be more you know, unity in that. That's the word I'm looking for. So let's add just a floor rug here. Maybe, let's see, sizing up the kind of shag or fuzzy carpet. Not a fan of it. I regret that decision. Let's just Control Z there. These kind of brown tones are okay, but maybe we can change it up with some lighter stuff. Yeah, I think that's good. It kind of has a messiness to it that I really like. I feel like this is the house a male sim might live in, and, you know, just because it's kind of the messiness. I feel like a lot of the houses I build in this game are homes that would probably be lived in by men, mostly because I'm messy, and I think sometimes unfairly, sometimes fairly, men tend to stereotypically have messier spaces, which I would try to argue against, but you know, it's kind of hard for me to argue with it because I'm sitting in a slightly messy room right now, and I should probably clean it instead of playing The Sims, but I can focus on that on another day. So I'm just kind of looking at these movie posters and maybe hanging one up, because, I don't know, I think it kind of adds to the space. I feel like if you wanted to have this house for a female sim or a couple, a lot of the changes you'd have to make it feel more like their space and less like this space would be to just kind of take down the pictures and maybe rearrange some of the objects and the decorations. I think after that you're absolutely fine. So yeah, this build is done, I think. So it's time for the house tour, and I will kind of just switch over real quick to that. Alright, so now we're at the house tour. This is the outside of the house, in case you forgot. It's been a while since I've actually looked at the outside of the house. I think it looks fine. It's a little bit simple, but I think for everything about this house, you know, it's okay if this isn't my favorite part, because honestly, my favorite part was just kind of, you know, building this house together. I think that was a really exciting thing to do. So now we are on to the first floor. The wallpapers I never did change because I just love the way they look, but not like that. Not a fan of that, and also not a fan of the roof sticking in, but where there's nothing we can do there, and also probably should have done something about that. I will try to fix that before I upload this to the gallery, but for now we can just kind of look up at that area and laugh. So yeah, okay, so here is the living room. It's kind of bare, partially because I don't see Sims probably spending too much time here. There is a TV, there's kind of this, you know, decorative nook area, there's some plants, and then there is a ironing board, and then there's a couch. I didn't put too much time in this spot just because, like I said, I don't really see the sim who lives here to spend too much time here. The kitchen I did try to put a little more items in, but I did want to keep it clean. It is a large kitchen though, so it does look a little sort of bare, but I think when you look kind of at this area, it sort of makes sense. You have your silverware, or not your silverware, I mean those would be big spoons, but you know, you have sort of your stuff for like mixing and stuff. You know, you have your stuff here, and then you have 2 stoves and 2 ovens. I think that's a really interesting thing that I don't really do often in my builds. I know a lot of other people do, so it was kind of nice to just sort of maybe copy that style for a bit. And then here is the dining room. It's a little dark. I might add another light, and yeah, it's just kind of got a cool look to it. You know, I like that floor rug. It's kind of adds a little pop of color. And then here's the backyard. I didn't add anything to the backyard because it's rather small, and I feel like if I added plants along the wall and stuff, it would just feel too cramped. And so it was kind of stuck between, you know, having a backyard feel bare and empty and having a backyard that was just kind of over cramped and stuff. So I went for the kind of bare and empty sort of look, and you can add what you want in there when you download this house. So here's the bathroom, the first floor bathroom. It is a full bathroom, as you can see, and there is a mirror. It's still kind of freaky looking in this and not seeing a reflection, but now that I say that out loud, I think it would be actually scarier if you did see a reflection. I'm going to stop talking about that because that sort of, you know, freaks me out. Here's a creepy picture. Here's a toilet with a toilet paper roll, and here is a non-functional hamper. I didn't want to add laundry stuff in here, though I did ultimately add that ironing board in. So you know, if you don't have the pack, don't worry, I can always take the ironing board out. And then here is the loft that we spent so much time working on the last couple episodes, and here is the sort of computer area, the reading nook, well, just kind of reading space, and the bed. I really like this bed. I believe it's from Seasons, and I think it adds a lot of dimension and texture to the room. And I really like how it looks. I could have added a curtain behind the bed, but I was afraid of clipping. Then here's kind of sort of the dressing space, and here's the music room. Once again, I want to thank Three Sisters Gaming for giving me this idea, and I also believe Simmer Aaron gave her support for this style, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's kind of clean aesthetically, and you know, it has enough instruments to you know, start a band with a violinist, which would be really cool. So here, just sitting at the piano looking at the just terrible roof right there, and we will or ceiling, and we will move on to this bathroom that I don't believe I've shown you yet. It's a very small bathroom, or very narrow bathroom I should say, and you know, has just kind of the bare necessities, and you can look out the window. I probably should have added blinds or something there. I'll probably do that before I upload this to the gallery though. Once again, I just want to thank everyone for being just such amazing friends and so supportive to me and to this video series. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. But yeah, so that's the video. If you enjoyed it, then please be sure to hit the like button, and if you are new to the channel and you want to see more videos like this, then subscribing and clicking the bell go a long way. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. I think there's a lot of interesting objects, a lot of tropical theme stuff that I really like, and some objects that don't necessarily have a tropical theme, so they can actually be used in other, you know, style builds, which is what I tried to figure out here. Now, the first floor of this house I really like.